Then Olivia asked, "What's your worst memory from the army?" Stephen crushed his cigarette in the ashtray, stood up, and muttered, "I'll be back." The screen went black. When it came back, Stephen had laid out papers and plastic sleeves on the table. One, he held in his hands. "I was a kid when I enlisted," he said. "Your brother's age." Olivia nodded. "Never saw combat. My deployments were to cities in Eastern Europe torn apart by civil war. The place was a mess. Felt like a janitor for," he cut himself off at a sharp cough from behind the camera. He adjusted, rubbing his face. "My unit was assigned to a school that had been destroyed years before we got there. No one had touched it. Kids walked by it every day, stepping over rubble on their way to beg for food." The camera dipped. A whispered argument. "Do you want to hear this goddamn story or not?" Stephen barked. Olivia jumped in. "Mom, please stop interrupting." Her mother hesitated. "Are you presenting this to the class?" "No, just handing it in." A beat. Then Stephen lifted the paper to his face. "In the basement, I found this letter. I didn't know what it said, so a buddy translated it. I'm gonna read it. And then I'll tell you what I saw down there." A chill ran down my spine. Mom zoomed in as his trembling hands held up the paper. Then he began reading. It was from a janitor who had stayed at the school long after the war had ended, convinced that life there continued as normal. He wrote about his wife and child dying from illness, his descent into isolation, and how his only connection to the world was his radio, always on, playing voices he didn't understand. Follow for part 3.